I'm going to build a backyard roller coaster I can ride my mountain bike on, and this mega seesaw over the barbed wire fence is going to be the start of it. What if the seesaw stops halfway and exits in a roller coaster section? A good roller coaster has dips, turns, and plenty of airtime, and it's going to be thrilling to ride. My name's Luke, and welcome to Cutlaps. Plus, we've got new teas available just in time for Christmas. Now, let's get building. Before I start building, I need to work out exactly where the roller coaster will go and how big it is. And to do that, I need a lot of tomato stakes. So my first job was to cut some from a piece of leftover wood I had at the shed. So I guess we can start with the first poles here. I like to use tomato stakes tied together with a string line to help visualize exactly where the wooden roller coaster will go. The string line is really useful because you can make small adjustments to the height and really dial in the perfect curve or the perfect dip. So let me show you what I've got. We have a fun dip at the start that leads into what I'm calling a dive turn, and you'll use that to build up speed to hit a jump that launches you into the valley below. I measured the structure and worked out I needed a hell of a lot of wood. So that's probably going to be me the next couple of days, just chainsawing, debarking, and lugging wood down here. Let's go. That should be all the wood I need for the vertical supports, and I'm going to start with the first two because they're the most important. This bridge needs to be able to come down and lock into place on them. So I guess I need to start by digging a couple of holes. I've buried 16 supports so far. I've got another 10 to go, and wow, I always forget how much work it is just digging these holes. You think it would be so much more straightforward, but there's always rocks and roots that you have to deal with. Yeah, it takes forever. By the end of the following day, I had all my vertical supports in place, and I could use the string line again as a guide for the horizontal supports. I've just temporarily attached half of the horizontal supports so that I can combine them with the string line and really dial in the curve and the shapes that I want. Now I say temporary because these will actually need to sit lower down. Imagine this is my bearer that will sit between the horizontal supports, and then the riding surface decking will sit on top of this. Slat, 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 slat. Now, because this is 10 centimeters tall, I need to move this entire thing down until it is the same height as this, which means that will then have to sit down at a lower level. So now that I have all these horizontal supports in place, I can just mark underneath with a pen. That marking that I just drew underneath will actually line up with the top of the horizontal support. That's all the horizontal and vertical supports in place, and far out, it is looking awesome. The next step is to join them together with the bearers. That's all the stringers approximately cut to size, and now I need to screw them down. But to do that, I need to work out how to get them to sit flat on those horizontal supports. I want to get rid of this gap here so that this piece of wood sits flat on this piece of wood. And to do that, I plan on cutting a bird's mouth joint. So if I cut that notch out, this should sit down flat. Before making any cuts, I had to measure both sides, otherwise the angles wouldn't be correct. All right, so it's not 100% perfect. My hand cut was like a little bit wonky, but it is bloody close and good enough for this purpose. Now I need to do that for the rest of them, and it's actually gonna get really complicated further down. So this is where things begin to get tricky because the bridge starts to tilt. A straight cut will no longer get rid of this gap. I'll have to cut it at an angle, but the tricky part is working out what that angle actually is. I'm not sure what the proper technique is for this, but I ended up measuring the larger gap and transferring that measurement to the other side. And to speed up the process, I bought myself a jigsaw which made diagonal cuts a lot easier. This process was a lot more time consuming and complicated than it looks. And by the end of the day, my brain was absolutely fried. Oh, that's so annoying. It's getting late in the day and I'm getting a bit tired, which means I'm starting to make mistakes. I just cut that one piece way too short. There was some like old markings I had on it and I wasn't paying attention. And anyway, it's not the end of the world. I've got another spare piece of wood that I think is long enough. So I really just want to get this done today. I just got to focus, stay focused. I knew I should have just finished up for the day. I went, got that new piece of wood and measured up the wrong side, which means I've cut it too short again. I've absolutely goobered this. I do have another piece of wood, but I think that's the sign. Just go home for the day, call it quits and come back fresh in the morning. There's definitely a lesson in that for you. The following day was a day of fixing my previous mistakes. I managed to cut the stringer to the correct length and get that in place. But you may have noticed further up that some of the stringers weren't sitting flush. This is because my horizontal supports were at the same height when really I should have had them in a step down configuration. It was a pretty easy fix to make and it will make a large difference when it comes to how smooth it will ride. And talking about smooth, I wanted to fix the dip at the start. I actually don't mind the look of it flat like that, but if I cut a curve into it, I think it's going to look a lot better and should feel even smoother to ride. So now I just need to mark the curve and cut it. And to do that, I'm going to use my trusty orange pole. Bam! That was good. That curve looks like it will flow a lot better, and I want to do something similar to the jump at the end of the roller coaster. I just want to find that perfect flow where you build up speed coming down through the berm and it's just woof, and you launch off the end. And Woof is actually the best way I can explain it. If you know the feeling, you know what I'm talking about. That's the flow I'm going for. So let's get that pipe out and start working with this. This is a little bit tricky because the jump launches you down into the gully. If I build it too long, then there won't be enough landing. And if I build it short but steep, then it's like a bit more of an impact, and then that will kill the flow. All right, that is all the stringers in place. And I think that's looking pretty good. It's kind of hard to see on camera like how much it does curve up at the end there. It kind of looks flat, which is a bit of an optical illusion. Maybe I could have cut a bit more of a curve into it, but I never wanted this to send you high, just kind of just shoot off the end. So we're gonna leave it as is. Now I'm just gonna strengthen it up a little bit. Like I said, I need to strengthen up some of these stringers so we don't get any tilt over time. And to do that, I'm going to apply some wedge bracing. I don't know what you actually call it, but I'm calling it wedge bracing. And to work out that angle, I'm actually using my little angle finder tool, which actually looks more like a prison problem solver tool. It's pretty simple to use. Just push it hard up against the wood here. This tilts until it's hard up against the stringer, and there you go. That is the angle that I need to draw onto my wood. Pretty simple. Oh, that's gonna be my wedge. That should make that stringer way stronger. So now I need to do the same thing to the others that I think need it. Before I can add the decking and test ride this roller coaster, I want to strengthen up some of the stringers. You may have noticed some problematic knots that will weaken the wood. Well, I've got this off-cutter wood, which I'm going to screw over the top, creating a gusset plate, which will strengthen that whole section of wood. But I'll do it on the inside so you can't see it. Okay, I think I've strengthened up everything that needs to be strengthened. So now it's time to lay down the decking. And I got a big pile sitting over there, just ready to go. But some of the pieces have been spray painted this ugly fluoro green, which looks disgusting, don't like it. But I realized the start of the roller coaster will actually be narrower than the rest of it. So I'll use all the green pieces at the start, and I should just be able to trim them off. We won't see it, it'll be good to go. So let's get started. I'm keen to see this unfold. So I've got about half of it decked and it is looking so good, but I do have one concern, and it's that point right there. I feel like it's just kicking up a little bit too much. I know it would actually be fine to ride as is, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I think if I lowered the high section by about 10 centimeters, it would look better and probably ride just a bit smoother. It's important to be open to making changes to your trail while building. It's hard to get it perfect first try. So that wasn't a quick fix, but I think it was worth it because the geometry is looking a lot better. Now we can continue on with the rest of the decking. That's cool. Oof, it's finally finished. I built a nice long landing because I'm not sure how much speed we'll have when we hit the jump at the end, because you pretty much come to a stop on the teeter-totter and then you'll pick up speed from there. So it's just hard to gauge how far we're actually going to jump off this. So we've got a nice long case pad, and then it just goes downhill for a while. Maybe we'll go small, maybe we'll go big. If I need to make changes, it's all dirt, so it'll be easy to change that landing. Only problem is it's really dry and dusty at the moment, but I've had the watering can out here just packing it down a bit. So hopefully it can handle the test runs later today. My friends are coming over to help me test ride this, but you know what else is coming? Christmas, and it is coming bloody quick. Now, I've got brand new Cutlaps t-shirts in my online store, which will make the perfect Christmas gift for any true Cutlaps fan. You get an awesome t-shirt, and it also really helps support the channel. I also have a Christmas sale going on where if you buy 2 shirts, you get a free mudguard. I have clean and stylish logo tees, got this brand new snake run design in multiple colors, and I think my favorite of all, the trail dog with a chainsaw, inspired by Aggie. Stick around to the end of the video for your chance to win one. Now, let's test ride this.
Could have made it a bit wider. That's big and scary. Righty-ho! Let's go and do this thing, eh?
Oh, it's getting a bit more real. Nothing more to say. I think we've just got to get it over and done with. All right, dropping. Yeah. That's so easy. The winner of the t-shirt from the previous build video is Adrian from Mildura, who left this comment. If you want to win a Cutlaps t-shirt, make sure you like, subscribe, and most importantly, leave a comment down below, and I'll pick my favorite in the next build video. Thanks for watching, legends, and remember, go dig, go ride.